So I guess to summarize, I'm an optimist. There's always going to be a coin hobby. I don't know how big it will be or how small it will be, but we're going to be here. People like us are going to be here. There's going to be a successor to Frank issuing medals for the TNA organization, and the set will grow bigger and bigger and bigger as long as they stay true to the history of Texas and they continue to pick out interesting topics. And there's always going to be collectors. There's always going to be, coins. At some point, we've been talking for many years about when will coins be abolished. And as every iteration of technology comes, we say, well, the day is closer. Well, that's certainly true, but is it close enough to really be relevant? As hard as people are fighting the abolition of the cent, it will probably still be here in 2040. I don't know that for sure, but the odds are inertia of human beings will probably have a 1-cent coin in 2040. And if we haven't gotten around to abolishing that denomination by then, you can darn well be sure that there's going to be all the other denominations too. And then, of course, there's always going to be gold and silver. So I told you at the end of my talk I'd give you my prediction for what the forecast what the price will be in 2040. So I did a little researching, a little history, and I came up with the fact that if you bought gold in 1976 at the $103 an ounce low, and you held it without interruption to the peak of almost $1,900 in 2011, you earned a rate of return of about 8.5% compounded. That's not a miraculous number. I'm sure you can get that return for other investments. You can also get a lot less, if any trip to a local bank would tell you in this day and age. But 8.5% over almost the 35 years from 76 to 2011. Silver was a little bit worse. It came in at about 7.5% compounded. It was 408 in 1976. It was just a couple cents under $48 at the peak in 2011. So it came in around 7.5%. So I was figuring, well, okay, this is kind of the universe I'm working in to make my forecast. One last thing before I get to that point is in January of 2014, the brazier doubloon, an example of the brazier doubloon was sold at a heritage auction, and it sold for over $4 million. Walter Persky owned it for 34.5 years. The rate of return on that coin, which is one of the crown jewels of American numismatics, was 7.1% a year. Again, it's a reasonable return, it's not a miraculous return. And that's the kind of world we're living in. I read all of the online, I shouldn't say all, but many of the online forecasts and newsletters. Gold's going to be $100 in 6 months. So, silver's going to be $100 in 6 months. Gold's going to be 10,000, yada yada yada. If we ever get to that environment where that is true, well, then obviously I'm in the wrong business. But I don't think it's ever going to get to that extreme. Life is more incremental than hugely upsetting. And so that's the basis that I put my forecast. But if you apply 7.2%, which is what I glommed onto because it was mathematically easier to figure out a rate of return at 7.2 than at 8.5 or 7.5. So anyway, if you go out at 7.2% on gold from the 2011 high, I'm sorry, for the 1,200 current price that the day I figured it, you get to a price of just over $6,800 an ounce in 2040. If you apply the same methodology for silver on the day that I did it, in 2040 the price of silver is going to be a little over $96 an ounce. So in 25 years, I can say then that the individuals who forecast $100 silver might still be waiting to achieve that end. But that's my methodology, that's my forecast, and let's come back to this room in 25 years and see if I'm right. So, thank you so much, and now I'm ready for questions.
If you like this video, we're sure you'll love these 3 videos above, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. CoinWeek is the #1 source online for all things numismatic. Visit www.coinweek.com to take your hobby to the next level.